Hello, my name is Chris Wyatt. I am the Senior Partner at the CWM Partnership, Chartered Certified Accountants in South Croydon, Surrey. And today I am explaining to you the new HMRC self-employment income support scheme aimed at helping the self-employed get through the coronavirus period. First of all, a bit about us. We've been established since 1969. We specialise in small business advice, including accounts preparation, VAT, payroll, tax returns, etc. I can be contacted by email, enquiries at cwmpartnership.co.uk. Our website is thecwmpartnership.co.uk. And you'll also find us on Twitter if you search for @CWM Partnership. So going on to the self-employed scheme, the idea of this video is to show you how to apply for support through the scheme, and also to explain whether or not you may be eligible for it. Now, to begin with, HMRC have been communicating over the last couple of weeks, with this being recorded on the 14th of May. And those communications have been a combination of text messages and also letters. One thing to be aware of if you have received electronic communication by text or even by email is that HMRC will never send you a link by that method to click on. A few days ago I heard that some clients were receiving text messages with a link, and if you were to go to the link, it was inviting you to put your details in. If you get that, do not click on it. There are fraudsters out there who, it seems, are trying to get the information from you and are likely to then dive straight onto the HMRC website and possibly try to get your grant. So there are text messages coming from HMRC, but they should look like this, and they will never ask you to provide any information. If you have not received a text, you may have received a letter. And here's an example of the letters that are being sent out. Now, one key thing to understand with this scheme is that even though we deal with HMRC on our client's behalf in regard to pretty much every tax there is, that on this occasion, HMRC are saying that they have not had time to set up the portal for agents, and are specifically saying that the taxpayer will have to make the claim themselves, but they can seek advice from us as the agents if they have one. But the thing to understand is we cannot do these claims for you. You have to do it through the website yourself, hence the reason for this video. Now, there's one key website to go to begin with to see if you're eligible, and that's here, which is HMRC Self-Employment Income Support Scheme, and I'll explain that in a moment. You also are going to need to register yourself for a government gateway user ID and password. And these are fairly straightforward steps, but you just need to know what you need to do, and then we'll guide you as to how to do it. HMRC are opening up the portal for claims between the 13th and the 18th of May. At the time of writing, we have now seen the experiences of a number of clients who've made their applications. So I'm in a better position to tell you what's going to be involved than I would have been a few days ago. So first of all, you're going to want to check if you are eligible. And to do that, you can either go straight to the website, which is to be found at this address here. And if you were to search online and put in self-employed eligible, that should also bring up a link to take you to that site. Once you are there, I will show you what the screens look like. So here we go. Check if you can claim a grant through the Self-Employment Income Support Scheme. You'll need to scroll down, and what you're looking for, once you go through all the detail, which you may wish to have a look at, is scroll down about halfway down the screen, and you're going to find this box here, green box saying check now. Once you've found that, you're going to want to click on it. And that will then take you through another series of screens. First of all, it's going to ask you for your self-assessment unique tax reference number. which is a 10-digit number, which will be found on any communications from HMRC that you may have. If you struggle to find it, then you can contact us and we will let you know what it is. On the next screen, you will then be asked for your national insurance number. Once you enter that, then the HMRC systems will be checked and you will be advised whether or not you are eligible to make a claim. Hopefully you will see this screen here in blue, and if not, you will see this screen here. Now, there are some typical reasons why you may not be eligible. And the first one is if your trading profits averaged over 3 years are more than £50,000. If they are exactly £50,000, then you're in luck. You will qualify for a grant, possibly up to the full maximum, which would be £7,500 for the 3-month period. However, if your average profits are £50,001, then you experience the cliff edge, which means that you will not be entitled to anything. Equally, the next test is whether your trading profits are less than your non-trading income. And I'm going to explain this in a bit more detail in a later slide. Finally, if you did not submit your 2018-19 tax return on or before the 23rd of April 2020, then you will not be allowed to make a claim, even if you would have qualified. If the return was still outstanding on that date, then as the rules currently stand and unlikely to change, you cannot make a claim. So moving on to non-trading income. So what is non-trading income? Well, essentially, it's anything that would have been declared on your tax returns that did not come from self-employment, or in the case of a partnership, the profits of a partnership. And that will include income from earnings. So if you have a PAYE job, that's what that would be. And HMRC are looking at the gross value before any tax deductions. Next will be property income. So if you have rental properties, they will consider that. They'll also consider dividends that you may have received from any shares you hold. Or alternatively, if perhaps you have a shareholding in a limited company, perhaps owned between you and your spouse or just owned by yourself, then that dividend income you've had is also going to be taken into account. Also, savings income, particularly, of course, interest, pension income. This will affect many, particularly those who receive state pension. It's all going to be taken into account. Overseas income and then miscellaneous income, which should also include taxable social security income. So what are they going to do with all of these numbers? Well, they're going to start off by looking at your average trading profit over a 3-year period, which they'll find from looking at your tax returns for the years ended 5th of April 2017, 5th of April 2018 and the 5th of April 2019. They'll add them all together and divide them by 3, which will give them the result. So in the example here, that would have been £25,000, the average of the 3 years. They would then look at anything you've had from the non-trading income, which for somebody who perhaps has rental properties, in this example, could be £24,999. Again, it's the average over 3 years. They'll add them together, and here it's £49,999. Now, this would be fine. This is good news. It qualifies as trading profits are more than 50%. So the trading profit is more than the rental profit, and that's fine. Self-employed wins over the rest. You qualify for the scheme. Another example here. Average trading profit is less, £15,000. Average rental income is less, £8,000. And then there's some dividend income as well, which is £7,001. The total income, £30,001. Now this person would have a problem because their non-trading income is £15,001, but the trading profit was £15,000, which means that the trading profit, only just, but it doesn't matter, it's more than, rather the non-trading income is more than the trading profit. So even if the income of £30,001, it's nearly £20,000 less than the example here, but because these two come to £15,001 and the trading profit was only £15,000, that taxpayer does not qualify for anything. So on the assumption that you have been told that you are eligible, you would then look to find this website here. And again, if you go online and search for claim self-employed grants, the website should come up. And I'll show you what it looks like here. Claim a grant through the Self-Employment Income Support Scheme. So you'll find your way here, and now you're ready to start doing your claim. And as you scroll down, it's going to tell you what you're going to need. You're going to need that tax reference number, the national insurance number. You're also going to need your gateway user ID and password. And as it says here, if you haven't got one, you'll be able to create one when you make your claim. So it should follow in a logical manner. You're also going to need to have your bank account details ready, and also the address, which is linked to the bank account. So wherever your bank statements are sent to, that's the address you need to put down. How to claim? You must make the claim yourself. As I've said earlier, we are not allowed to make the claim for you. And it goes on here in quite harsh terms. Your tax agent or advisor must not claim on your behalf, as this will trigger a fraud alert and you will have to contact HMRC. This will cause a significant delay to you receiving your payment. And believe you me, after the last few weeks of all of these extra procedures we're having to do, having to deal with potential fraud alerts for trying to do something on behalf of a client is not something that we can do, unfortunately. But we can guide you along, and this video is part of that process. When you make your claim, you're going to be asked a number of questions, and particularly whether your business has been adversely affected by the virus. This is important. Also, it's important that you do not try and claim a self-employed grant if your business is that of a limited company. Limited companies, even if it's a one-person company, you are not self-employed, and there are other schemes that may be available to you. If you're in any doubt, you would need to contact us. Then if after you've made the claim, if you believe it is wrong, you are allowed to appeal, and I would suggest that you have a look through all the points on this website when you're making your application. So when you get to the point of making the claim, you will click on Start Now, and the screen will then advise you need to have a government gateway to sign in. When you go to sign in, it will either ask for your details or invite you to create them now. So click here, it will ask you some questions about yourself. You'll identify yourself by perhaps passport, driving license, and then once you have been verified as being who you say you are, then you'll be given the user ID and password, and you're ready to carry on. Now, the actual screens themselves are not visible to us. So earlier today, a client was kind enough to go through the process of making his application, and he took some screenshots for me, which is what I'm going to show you now. First screen you will see is this one, and it advises you that the grant is not a loan, so it will not have to be repaid. But, and this is important, the grant is going to be subject to income tax and self-employed national insurance, and it will need to be declared on your self-assessment tax return. That will be the tax return for the year ended 5th of April 2021, and depending what the tax rates are, then as a rough guide, you should expect currently to be paying 29% of tax and national insurance on that, but it's going to depend on your income. If your income takes you into the higher rate tax bracket, then you would be looking at 42%. Then you need to understand the rules for claiming, because there are conditions to this. You may have been trading up to the 5th of April 2019, but to qualify, you also have to have been trading during the tax year ended the 5th of April 2020. You also have to continue to trade as self-employed during the tax year 2020 to 2021. Doesn't mean you have to intended, or in reality, that you're going to trade through the whole of the tax year, but you're going to need to have traded for at least part of it. And then also you're going to have to confirm that your business has been adversely affected by the coronavirus. So what do they mean by the business being adversely affected by the coronavirus? Well, to find some more information, we can go back to the website where we were a few moments ago when I was telling you how to start the actual claim. And the information not very usefully, is actually below the box where it says start now. So many people may not even scroll down to see this, but it's important to be aware of it because there is record keeping and reporting requirements. First of all, you need to, and this is very important, you need to make a note of how much you have claimed, because this will be needed when we come to prepare your 2020-2021 tax return. The next thing you're going to need is some sort of evidence that the business has been adversely affected by coronavirus, and there are examples given here. But for the majority of people, it's not going to be too hard to say that business has been affected. Just disruption, perhaps delays to work. All of these things would affect your turnover during this time. It could be that the rest of the year would become a bumper year, such that your turnover for 2021 might be comparable to the previous period. That wouldn't be a problem. What you've got to demonstrate is during this time, right now, that things have been affected. So if you're a taxi driver and haven't worked for a couple of weeks, you've been affected. However, if you have a business which perhaps sells food, then the chances are that your turnover has actually gone up. And if that is the case, then you may not be eligible for the grant, because you will not be able to demonstrate that your business has suffered. If you apply for the grant and get it, but then get checked later, then understand that you may have to give the money back. So once you're happy that you will qualify for the grant, then the claim begins. And the system will ask you to state your full name, which you'll enter. Also your email address, which will confirm the amount of the grant. And that's going to be quite important for the record keeping of how much you received. And I would encourage clients to email that to us so we can place it on the file. And finally, the option of putting in your mobile number. Once you've gone through that, then the screen will tell you what the level of your grant is. And this will be calculated automatically by HMRC. There's nothing for you to have to do. They have the information from your old tax returns. And in this example, they've looked at the trading profit for a period of 3 years, added it together and divided it by 3, which gave them a total profit of £22,992.33. They then divided that by 12 to give a monthly figure, 191603. And because this scheme pays out for a period of 3 months by default, very generous, your business may only be effective for a couple of weeks, but they're going to give you 3 months of money. Then in this case, the grant based on 3 months will be 80% of 574808, and the 80% comes to £4,599, which then becomes the grant. I've seen an anomaly to this, which is for a client who had very large profits for the years ended 2017 and 2018 and a lower profit for 2019. Taking the average of the 3 years, they were above the £50,000 threshold. So you would have thought they would therefore not qualify. But there seems to be a calculation in the system, which then looks at what your income was for the 2019 year in isolation. And perhaps, and it was for this other client the case, if the 2019 year in isolation is below the threshold, then you get paid. So if you had 2 good years in 17 and 18, very good years, and then a poor year in 19, and you think that your average will be more than 50,000, don't assume that and still go through the process to try and make a claim, because you may get a surprise. Once you've been told how much the grant is going to be, then they will ask you for the details of your bank account. That can be your personal bank account or the business bank account. I would recommend that if you do have an account you normally use for your business income expenses, that is the best one, because it means that when we come to prepare the tax return, we're going to see the figure at the point we're doing the accounts. If it's into another account, then it may not be picked up. You will also then be asked to enter the details of the address that the bank have down for you. And in this example here, because the client had put the information in previously, it's shown his actual address, which I've had to blot out. But I'm imagining there'll be just a screen asking for your house number, the name of the road, etc., etc. Once you have put that in, it'll take you to a final screen To confirm that your claim has been submitted, it will confirm the amount of the award, and in here it would give you a claim reference number. And that is it. Within 6 working days, HMRC would expect the money to be in your account. It's important to note that even though this relates to a 3-month period, e.g. here, we had a monthly figure, 3 months and then 80% of that to give the total award. They are paying out the whole 3 months in one go now. As the rules currently stand though, if you're self-employed, once you've had this, then that is your lot. And then for any other funding, you may have to consider looking at bounce back loans, which is the subject of one of my other videos, which you will find via Twitter or on our YouTube channel. So that's a self-employed scheme. It should be fairly straightforward. Any problems, you can let us know. Another website I would point you towards, particularly if you're starting to go back to work, is the Health and Safety Executive. They'll be found at hse.gov.uk, and they have particularly a new section on here, working safely during the coronavirus outbreak, which has information particularly for the construction industry, or if you have offices, etc., etc. And that's it for this video. Further information about us there on the screen. I hope that this has been of some benefit for you. As I say, if you have any further queries, then do not hesitate to contact us.